captains. Battles take place on various maps with unpredictable wind conditions, forcing teams to plan for the best but adapt to the worst as the whims of fortune demand. We are especially excited this season for the many new features Holdfast has given us in the new Age of Sail update, adding incredible mechanics like boarding and ship capture and captain commands. We have included almost every new feature Anvil Game Studios has given us in this new update, though even with all these new dimensions to the game, the path to victory in the NSL remains the same as ever. A team wins the match in the NSL by sinking or capturing all of the opponent's largest ships, the heavy, powerful 17-gun brigs and the lighter, more maneuverable 8-gun schooners. These are what we call the capital ships of the NSL, and once they are all sunk or stolen, the battle immediately ends. Each team has 35 minutes to complete this mission, and if the timer concludes before either team can completely defeat the other, then the team which has the most capital ships remaining under their control wins the battle. If both teams have the same amount of capital ships, the tie is decided in favor of whoever has the highest overall point score. There are 8 teams competing this year, some returning, some newly formed. All of them have the same goal, to put together a record of victories in their battles to make it into the top 4 teams of the league. Only the top 4 teams will have a chance to compete for the Champions Prize, which is determined by a 2-week tournament among those top 4 teams, which will take place after the regular season ends. I want to thank you for joining us today, and I hope the league can inspire you to pick up Holdfast yourself, jump on a ship, and learn the art of sailing as we all have. Perhaps one day you too will compete in the Naval Sports League and burn bright in the fires of competition. The pre-game coverage will begin shortly. I wish all the teams the best of luck, and I'm confident they will put on a tremendous show of courage and bravery for you to enjoy. So stick around and see what happens here at the Naval Sports League. Hello, my name is Lemerck, and welcome to Season 2, Game 3 of the Naval Sports League, Marines versus Sea Otters. I am joined today by 2 storied veteran co-hosts, Amit and Atticus. Gentlemen, starting with Amit, can you say hello to the fans and tell us which team you'll be tracking today?
Hello, everyone. This is Amit. I will be tracking the Marines for you today.
And Atticus.
My name's Atticus, and I'm very, very excited to be following the Sea Otters today.
Yeah, we've got quite a game ahead of us, gentlemen. Before we get into some of the specifics of that, we are going to take a look at the league standings as they are building over the course of these first few games. And I want to just make a note of where things stand and what some of these numbers mean for those of you who might be watching the NSL for the first time. We have the Krakens and Hydra that you will see at the top of that leaderboard. Now, the order that they're in is based off of their points difference because they are both 1 and 0. And you're going to see that right now these points are determining rankings, but over time it's that record, that win-loss record that's really going to show who's on top and who's on the bottom. So functionally, with these ridiculously close points differences, the Krakens and the Hydras are virtually in a tie for first place right now. On the bottom, you're seeing the Rangers and the Rum Rats, the 2 teams that those previously mentioned 2 teams have defeated, and you'll see the inverse scores, negative points down there to the positives. So they're starting off on the back foot, but by no means does that mean that these teams are out of the running to win the NSL Season 2. What we have today is another pair of teams that we have not yet seen fight, and they are represented there in the middle of that league standings. We're going to be looking at the Marines and the Sea Otters today. So I am so excited. This has been a battle I've been looking forward to for quite some time. I know that my co-hosts have been looking forward to it as well. So let's just kind of get into a bit of an open conversation about it. I'm going to start with Atticus. Atticus, you're going to be watching the Sea Otters today, and I know that you are like chomping at the bit to see this team get unleashed on the NSL. Can you tell us a little bit about why?
This team, uh, the Sea Otters are brand new to the NSL, absolutely brand new. None of the components of this team have ever played in this format before, which that's the first exciting thing. It's always exciting to see a new team and how they adapt to this competition.
Yeah.
The Sea Otters, particularly, are a combination of two regiments. One is the NJ, the Nassau Jaegers. They bring the bulk of the team. They're good for numbers. They're very good for numbers, and they're a very good regiment. The smaller section of the Sea Otters and the more of the command side are a French regiment called the GDE, and their admiral Random Billy is a legend of Holdfast Naval. This guy goes back to the very start. I mean, Merc, you can tell the viewers just as much as I can.
Yeah.
When you started playing, he was the guy,
Yeah.
and he took a long hiatus from Holdfast in general, but he's back, and the NSL has fired something in him. He put this team together, and with his leadership, I think we're going to see a new force emerging.
Yeah, I can, of course, absolutely co-sign everything that you have just said. Billy, to me, was the badass of naval when I was just first captaining my very first ships in the pub servers. He was a legend even before I had ever touched the game, and having him participating in the NSL is a personal. It's personal for me. I'm very excited that he has decided to join us. Now, that's not to take away from our other team, the Marines, who have a storied history in the NSL already themselves. And so I'm going to pass over to Amit to tell us a little bit about the Marines.
Thanks, Limerck. Uh, the first RM, otherwise known as the Marines, as their team, are now a distilled team this year starting out. They aren't teamed up with anybody. Last year, they started out with the 77th as part of them. And this year, coming in, they are funding this fully from their own membership, much like the X, I think. And they have, as you said, such a storied history. They've been through many multiple seasons of the NSL, from preseason now up to season 2, and even prior to all of these in the XNL and beyond. Um, Great team, very skilled players amongst them. Um, they have, I have to assume, Kieran's as their admiral today, and
Mhm.
he's had nothing but perseverance throughout these leagues. Time and again, any kind of adverse conditions they come up against, they still go straight head first into the next battle, as if nothing had come before it. And that's exactly the kind of attitude that you kind of want to see from teams, because that kind of perseverance just goes to show that we're going to have some great matches ahead of us. And what I'm hoping to see this season, this is being their first match, I want to see them learn some lessons from their prior experiences and see how they square off against this new team.
Yeah. I think when it comes to the Marines, they really they can only go up from here. And I say that not to insult them because I do love the Marines and I love their battles. They did, however, get last place in NSL season 1. And that was not entirely the fault of like skill or anything like that on their part. They had some, real disturbances in their lineup. They had some manpower issues throughout it, and so we're really looking forward to them this season to come back solidified, like you said, consolidated with a strong chain of command and a real focus on victory here. And I'm hoping that's what we're going to see from them today. And they have a chance here. The Sea Otters, for all of the talent that the Sea Otters can bring, they lack experience in the NSL, and that's the Marines opening here. That's what I believe. Um, you've heard from my co-hosts here, and so it remains to be seen. Is it going to is talent this sort of raw talent that I know personally. We know personally. We know Random Billy. We know some of the guys that serve with him. We know the NJ. Is their talent going to be able to overcome the Marines' experience in this, or maybe the Marines' experience because the age of sail has changed so much in Holdfast Naval? Maybe that experience isn't going to carry over quite so well. But this map is going to truly challenge both of these teams to explore and find what they're made of. So let's tab over to the map after waving goodbye to our lobby cam and all those guys probably killing each other out there. Let's take a look at the map. The map today is Raiders Passage. This is a familiar map to those who watched the NSL Season 1. The This map is so interesting because of the many narrow pathways between the islands that you can no doubt see. You can see where the wind is going to be coming from. It's coming from the south, or it's heading to the south, I'm sorry. And it is going to create that neutral wind that you're going to see in all these battles this season. And then it's going to change up during it. And where it's going to go, we won't know. We'll be able to kind of see from the way that the teams use their sails. But starting right now, we won't know how it's going to develop after those first like 5 to 10 minutes, where it's going to probably be holding south. We have the Marines on one side, the Sea Otters on the other. This looks like a fairly balanced map, but those islands, there's that central column of islands, and then there are two islands on each side. And those two lines on each side have been actually just as important as the narrow causeways that pass between the islands. So I want to pass it over. Atticus, tell me, you're the Sea Otters today. Uh, what would your strategy be going into these islands?
My first thought throws back to a match in season 1 where one team, and it may or may not have been the Marines, tried to go down one of these narrow passages and got caught. Um, Conversely, I think they also went down another one and they caught out the opposition. So that's what the passages offer. Being, we don't know what we're going to see from the Sea Otters. They're brand new. The game has changed immensely. They have to play cautiously. They have to play cautiously, find their feet. We've seen this from previous games now. We're into game 3, game 1 and 2. These matches are more and more of a chess match now than they ever were in the preseason or in season 1. Aggression will only get you so far, especially if you can't back that especially when you can't back that aggression up with excellent boarding ability. So if I was the Sea Otters, I would be heading north, sort of northish. I want to bank the wind early because that's going to help you in the early game. Obviously, the wind changes randomly. We have no control. We don't know what the wind's going to do.
Nope.
Um, but as long as you're upwind, it's not going to change so dramatically that you can't adjust for it.
Yeah. And now passing it over, Tomit, the Marines like hyper aggression. That seems to have been their sort of go-to strategy. Basically, just sometimes literally just physically crashing into the enemy. Last season, that didn't really do anything, right? Hitting an enemy ship did not get you any bonuses. But in this season, wetting the sails, a captain's command that gives you extra speed and extra ramming damage, actually can do something and take if you have the wind, a serious chunk off of an enemy ship. Do you think that the aggression style that the Marines are famous for is going to continue in the Age of Sail?
That's a great question. I mean, we've seen that this game after the Age of Sail update has kind of become almost a different game entirely. And in the previous match with the Hydras versus the Rangers, you can see how lucrative a very close boarding action can be. Now, even with the sales, my observation with the current config is that you really need to have full wind with you and wet the sails to do any significant amount of damage. But you're right,
Yes.
it does more than just base HP damage on ships. You knock people off ships, you knock captains off the wheel, you do a lot of disruption instead of just straight up HP damage. So that, in my, because I was in the last match, that has been a factor, and I feel like some of that was an advantage for us at the time. Um, what I think the Marines are going to do in this one, because echoing back to Atticus's statements just a couple minutes ago, um, he had mentioned that the Marines had gone down a passage and they got caught out. It was actually my team at the time, the Hydras of today, who caught them out and destroyed them. So they're well attuned to the risks on this map. Granted, the wind changes is not as much of a deterrence for them, I find, given the updates to the game itself. So, well, we'll have to wait and see how it goes. And like Atticus said, we've seen nothing from the Sea Otters yet. So maybe they've gone back in some of the old videos and reviewed as well, and taken some of those lessons to bring today, and take them against that, as you said, typically aggressive first RM or Marines team, and change up that dynamic.
Yeah. It really does depend on how much homework the Sea Otters have done because the Marines, like you said, they have a storied history in the NSL. There is plenty of information that a prospective opponent can learn from having watched that. So we seem to be taking a look now at the actual battlefield itself. I want to remind everybody that we are going to have Amit with the Marines today, and the Marines they're flying the British flags, and they are going to be the yellow ships. All right, and we can have Atticus, who's going to be talking a lot today about the Sea Otters. They are flying the French flags, and they are going to be on the red ships. If we're talking about ships and you're seeing them on the screen, try to use the colors. I find that to be the best way to keep track of who is who. Yellow for the Marines, red for the Sea Otters. Um, so yeah, now that we're in it, guys, does anybody have, anything that been on your mind or talking about as we come into this match? Floor is open. We have some serious veteran hosts here that I'd love to hear from. Anything that you guys are interested in.
Well, the first thing that I've noticed is the spawning location for the Sea Otter's fleet. They have spawned quite the gap between the two. So it'd be interesting to see how they organize themselves as the all sail comes down.
Oh yeah, those red ships are
That's
split very far
rather
apart.
interesting. I didn't know it was possible to have your spawn area that varied. Interesting. Yeah.
The spawn zones are much larger after the Age of Sail. They're just huge rectangular zones, and yeah, you're really going to see it this season. So as this battle begins, we are seeing. Well, we're seeing one of the teams kind of just going straight in, and that is going to be our Red Sea Otters. They seem to be kind of just going forward towards the center of the map. The question is, are the Marines going to do the same in the yellow ships? We see their 17 gun taking the lead here for the yellow Marines.
Hmm.
What configuration, Amit, do you think, if you are going to get hyper aggressive, what ship configuration would you imagine? What's going in first for you?
Uh, Normally, you would want to put ships that are well attuned to maneuverability and speed. The way that AGS has set up the ships these days, the tried and true 8 gun schooner is the ship that you would want leading that charge. They can take a little bit of damage. Um, while having your larger ships like the 17 guns kind of hold back and fire because they've got much longer range than the 8 guns, so they can provide covering fire. In fact, this is what we did in our match last time. But
Yes.
interestingly, you see that the Marines in their yellow ships are moving out their two 17 gun larger ships right at the front of the pack. So maybe those three 8 gun schooners are going to pull off towards the south at some point and try to do some sort of pincer maneuver of sorts.
Yeah. Atticus, what do you make of the Sea Otters? I'm not seeing a tremendous amount of organization, but I am seeing some intentionality from the way that they're using their 17 guns and kind of
Yeah,
holding them back.
very much so. It does look like they want to get the 17 guns together. They did spawn very far away. It looks like Billy on his flagship, the Chambur, wants to take the lead of the other brig. They have got two 8 gun schooners just set a little bit away from the rest of the fleet. There's
Kind of,
organized. It looks disorganized, but it's as if they're trying very hard to organize.
yeah. Those two seem to be well positioned to cut off the front of the Marines and that yellow column coming in from the east. They have set themselves up. They are, I think, expecting that the yellow ships of the Marines, especially those two brigs coming in the front, are just going to put themselves in their irons and get shot from the very beginning. So if the Marines come screaming through this channel, it looks like the Sea Otters in their red ships, which are forming up now in a very defensive line position, clearly, are going to be ready to receive. The Marines on it do not seem to be making that sort of rookie mistake of just charging straight into the entire enemy fleet. Instead, they seem to all just be going north, and we're seeing that both of the lines are headed to the north. Who would you give the organizational advantage to right now?
I mean, clearly the Marines are a veteran team. They have a very nice formation coming out of combat. You can actually see the cannons coming out of that second 17 gun have the captain bonus as well. So they're not just organized in terms of formation, but organized in terms of orders happening on the ship. But they are, as you said, not taking the bait, because that would have been a disaster for them to take those 17 guns straight through and get blasted, getting raking fire on them. Seems like they're going to do a little bit more touch and go, see how it goes. They're probably going to come around the islands on the north side and swing around, because they will have a little bit of wind advantage at the time. At the current time, I believe the wind is still moving south, so they're moving against the wind, and they will likely pull back. But it seems that they're pulling a lot further to the east. I don't know if that's just some sort of feint to get the sea otters to come in closer, but they may just be doing that.
Yeah.
Get around to the rear.
And Atticus, as I'm looking at the Sea Otters, their line seems to be only now just sort of coming and congealing into something more organized. I have noticed that their Corvette is held back pretty far back. Any idea why you think that might be? Do you think it's just kind of hunting for opportunities and it's going to rejoin the line, or do you think it's going to really try and pounce on the rear of the Marines line as they do this circular motion that they're doing now?
It is starting to turn to starboard, but I don't think it's there for a pouncing maneuver. I think it's there to screen gunboats. The
Hmm.
two gunboats of the Marines are lining up with the larger gap in the islands, and yeah, I think yeah, it looks very much like the
Yeah,
Corvette is there just acting as a screen, just a
yeah.
bit of rear protection. Because the last thing these guys want is to have some gunboats following behind.
And you can see that right up until right about now, it has done that job. Those gunboats have stayed at a very respectful distance. We're talking about the Yellow Marines gunboats who are staring down at the Sea Otter's red Corvette, which is that ship that's at the very rear of its line. And it has a shorter range than they do actually, so they could snipe it from a distance and kind of annoy it a little bit.
They are
Um,
trying, but there has been a development that the Sea Otter's gunboats have gone round the south side of the islands and have come up on the rear of these gunboats. Now you'll see the Marines corvette coming in to do exactly the same thing, Amit.
You're looking at hunters becoming the hunted right here, a bit of an opposite action. However, the Marines Corvette needs to be very careful. Those 17 guns are coming right into range and view. And that's a very precarious place to be. Granted, there are a lot of resources to repair the ship, but if they're not careful, they could get caught out and destroyed very quickly.
yeah, I'm really watching the Hotspur right now. That's being captained by the Marines Spectre, Captain Spectre on the Hotspur, and he's kind of right in the middle of things, tangled in with all those gunboats. You can see now that the caster, and I'm probably pronouncing it wrong, and I'm sorry to all my French friends, captained by Skelly Rock, he is in the other Corvette, and it looks like this middle ground is going to become a playground for the Corvettes and the gunboats. And we're going to see if committing to that central area is going to be a distraction for anybody, or how it's going to impact the larger battle as these 17 gun brigs and the 8 guns that are following them seem to be weaving to the south, catching good wind and making motion down here. I guess, gentlemen, my question for you, and anybody can answer it, is where do you think this battle is actually going to really start in earnest with the capital ships?
I believe towards the south of the map now. You can see that both sets of fleets are heading under full sail in that direction. Sooner or later, someone's going to cross this these divisive aisles down the
Yeah.
center, and we will end up getting our capital v capital fight.
Yeah.
Correct. You do see the Marines starting to turn their formation there. They do have a little bit of wind advantage, assuming the wind is still to the south. And they're going to try to cross that T there and bottle up the Sea Otters.
Yeah.
And you can see them trying to keep their distance now.
This is the moment. I mean, the Marines, you can see at the beginning, Captain Kieran's in the Isabella. He has made the decision that he is going to go in, and he's coming in a very aggressive, I mean, very aggressive angle of attack here that puts the front of his ship well within the sights of both of the enemy 17 guns. I could see that turnout starting to happen now. He's going to take a little bit of heat coming in, but he's got a very close chain of ships coming in behind him. I would love to hear the status of that ship as we go. Amit, just keep us informed, but I'm seeing that it's not lost a ton of HP just yet. On the flip side, Atticus, I'm assuming that these 17 guns for the Sea Otters are basically fresh.
Unscratched.
Yeah.
Paintwork's still wet on them, but yeah, the sorry, I'm just
No, it's
something
okay.
caught my eye. Nothing happened.
I'm gonna jump in here because the Isabella, Amit, is
It is
already down at
massive.
half.
Yeah, it's about half. I know you just mentioned it hasn't taken a lot of HP, but the delay of those friendly Marines ships behind them, it's it's not over. They of course can repair the ship, and they're looking to start a bit of a brawl here with that second 17 gun, the I'm not exactly how to pronounce that. The Grand Folk.
I think that
That may
the
be
grand.
intentional.
I can tell you that I'm pretty sure Folk was they wanted that to be
Folk.
the name of their team, and I gave them a veto on that one because I didn't want to say
Got it.
Folk over and over and over again. But here we are. They found a way to sneak it in, and
We
they
do have
did
our
get a
first
boarding
boarding
action.
action.
The Isabella and the Grand Folk are now in a boarding action, and it's a miracle that the Isabella got there after losing its that bowsprit at the front, because that could really slow a ship down. Now the question is, how is this boarding action going to go? It's probably not going to result in a ship capture, so it's really a delaying tactic here. Now, what are we seeing? I'm going to pass it over to Atticus. What are we thinking that the Otters are doing right now? What's their plan?
Well, I'm a bit distracted at the minute because despite you saying that they may not take this ship, there are still 2 Marines on board the stranded brig. And they've just been fought off, but the boarding action is still ongoing. I wouldn't say it's over yet, and I haven't seen much of a counter boarding. Let me just pull out and have a quick look at the rest of the battle. Well, from this position, it does look like the other brig of the Sea Otters is now slightly beached. It looks like he may or may not have hit the island. He's not stuck, but he has got 3 Marines, 8 guns firing on him now, and the Corvette is in close. This is a gutsy move from the Marines, and it might pay off.
It is certainly a race to see who can destroy the first 17 gun, and you could see that the Marines' Corvette's coming in broadsiding real close. They're really doing some damage there. It's going to be a matter of who can destroy what first and who's going to become demoralized first. Somehow the Isabella has held on for dear life, and it's just a mix and match of Marines' ships versus the Sea Otters. Critically, one of the Sea Otters' ships is not even anywhere close to this battle.
So I was going to make a mention of that. The 8 gun had gotten boarded by Frisky, and Frisky held that helm for a very long time, just killing and killing and killing everybody on that ship until they were off in the distance. So shout out to Frisky. Great job on that boarding action. I have a question for Atticus. What is the ship HP on the Grand Folk?
Ship HP on the Grand Folk? That's not the one I'm focusing on. I'm just focusing on the Chambord. The Grand Folk, who's
just got demasted?
He is below half, just below half. It looks like the crew are attempting repairs and returning fire at the same time. I don't know if that's going to be enough. He might just want to get out of there. And
they don't have a captain on that helm right now. They don't have anybody on the helm, and they're drift.
The captain's just returned to the helm.
I think the Isabella is probably going to go down first. It is just clinging on to that last scrap of life, Amit.
Yes.
What else are we seeing out here?
So we've got lots of Marines ships helping the Isabella. As you said, there it goes. It just destroyed. It got destroyed. But we've got a slowly reforming Sea Otters fleet. So that is currently what the Marines are trying to hold themselves against. There's a couple of gunboats out there getting into the mix. Some of the demasted Marines
I'm
gunboats are getting right in
I'm
there.
sorry
Go
to
ahead.
interrupt, but we have had a trade here. So the Grand Folk is also down.
There it goes,
That is
yes.
1-1 here. So this is a shockingly even match here between these two teams, and the chaos is just increasing by the second. You can see that the first RM, the Marines, in their yellow ships, passing by the wreckage of their downed brig, their 17-gun, the large ship, and collecting its supplies to store for later. The question I have is, all right, so if we take a look at the Salmon, which is the other 17-gun, the remaining 17-gun, it is firing on the Chambur. Atticus, what are we looking at when we see the Chambur's HP here?
The Chambur's HP is down to about a fifth.
Wow.
This is going to be close. I don't know how the Salmon is looking HP wise, but it
Just
does
above
have,
half.
It's about
Just above half.
2/3. It's fine, but it's not great.
because it does have the Sea Otters Corvette right in front
Right
of it.
up against it.
And they're
That's
boarding.
right.
They are boarding.
They're boarding.
Salmon
They've
is
also
getting
got
boarded.
2 8-guns firing at it. What I will say for the Sea Otters, although they're not my focus, is that they've done a great job deciding which target they want to destroy and just going after it. I'm just not seeing the kind of fire output I would like for them to destroy the Salmon. But they're slowly doing it.
Yeah. Concentration of fire is so important, even in this new age of sail. Concentration of fire is everything. And an enemy that can disrupt your concentration, that can create this chaos, is going to exploit it. And that is what the Marines like to do. And so we're really seeing that this age of sail may be just right for the Marines' play style here and their hyper aggression.
Can I ask how the Salmon's doing, Amit? Because it is in all kinds of trouble. It has 2 gunboats, an 8-gun, and a Corvette. Just
It
raining
is,
hell on it.
yeah, since I last mentioned it about a minute ago, it's doing pretty bad. It's about less than a quarter health now. But the Chambray is seemingly running away to patch its wounds up while its friendly ships just take out the Salmon. It's really not looking good for the Marines right now. It was a bad decision to take the Salmon through there.
The Chambray has escaped with minimal health. He has maybe a tenth, maybe less HP.
And how is the Sardine doing, captained by Elmu? He is being attacked by 2 Marines Corvettes and, 1 Marine Corvette and 2 8-gun schooners there. How's it doing?
Sardine's got about a quarter health. He is making maneuvers to try and keep himself out of their arcs of fire. I think he's especially wary of that Corvette coming up on his rear starboard.
Alrighty. Well, lots of battle left ahead of us, though.
Yeah, lots of battle. And with the Chambur, the only remaining, I think, well, let's see if the other ship is one of the 2 remaining 17 guns left. The Salmon is holding on tight. I mean, it is actually
Dear life.
I mean, but it actually seems to be repelling the
It
ships
does.
around it. It's got, I don't know if it's got anything left by means of repairs. I'm not really seeing any repairs on the deck. They're actually focusing on repairing their cannons and not on just masts and cannons. Now, masts can be repaired even when you have no supplies left, but it's very slow. So they're just trying to get any functionality back in to that ship and just pivoting it on the spot to keep those cannons in rotation on anything that comes near, and they're doing a damn good job of it. It's shocking. Lord Jenkins, captain of the Salmon, is keeping the ship moving, is keeping it working. Yeah, we have a boat violation. Can't take out more than 2 boats at a time. So hopefully the Marines get that sorted. They have 3 boats out right now, not allowed. Anyway, the 8-guns, that's where the action is. The 8-guns and the Corvettes. Gentlemen, what are you seeing? Atticus, tell us a little bit about what you're seeing in that.
So I've come back to the Sardine. The Sardine is now being shepherded away from the battle by Skelly on the Castamoulet, which is the Sea Otter's Corvette. He has taken a hell of a beating. He's got about a 6th health left, but that Corvette is putting itself between him and the rest of the Marine 8-guns. Meanwhile, over back with the Chambur, which hasn't done any of the repairs that you would expect. I don't know whether they have a resources issue, but he is still very low health and is being guarded by the Courage Grenades.
Well, what you can see from the Chambur, is that they deployed a lifeboat. Why? They're sending it over to that recently sunk gunboat, and they're going to collect those scant supplies. They have, I think, absolutely no supplies on their ship right now, and they're about to get some.
Interestingly, we've seen this kind of back and forth of support from the ships from both teams. I thought it's pretty cool that, when one ship, such as the Salmon right now, which is probably going to go down momentarily, the reason they were able to stay alive so long, Lamerk, is because I'm going to give a shout out to Kaba of the Sultan on the Marine side. He's running his 8-gun to go protect the Salmon again. Now, he did that earlier, but left briefly because I think he probably thought he had it handled. But the Sea Otters. Started to attack it again. And then we actually just saw that the Sardine went down. And I believe there are supplies available for the Salmon can get over there. They can use those to repair a little bit.
Yeah, the
So
Salmon have some
this-
supplies right off their bow, and they have some off their rear starboard at that sunken 8-gun that they just dispatched. So again, the Salmon is just not, it will not say die, and it's gathering its remaining 8-guns. So we're seeing now from the GDE, the Sea Otters in these red ships are coming through the channel again. They want to take down the Salmon before it starts repairing too much. Atticus, the Chambur, give us a status report on the Chambur, please. because it's
Chambur
about to get back to battle.
has gone up. It's at about a fifth of health now, so that influx of resources have been put to good use. It's coming back into the battle now, I think, and I think I've just noticed that the Marines Salmon has now got its masts back.
It
Am I
has.
seeing that in the
Yes, it did.
distance?
It did. It got some supplies, which really expedited the recovery of those masts.
Just to give you guys
Also-
a bit of a... Sorry, go ahead, Atticus.
Also, just to report on other 8-guns, the Icon Fixer from the Sea Otters has pulled out of a little battle it was having with the Razorfish and the Hotspur, but that is now looks to be what the quarry of the Chambur and, excuse my French, the Courage Grenades are going after next.
I mean, if we take a look at where the battle is right now, it is not looking good at all for the Sea Otters. They
Absolutely
seem
not.
to have 3 ships remaining on the field. Now, I think the Chambur is going to go down very shortly, especially if it allows itself to get near the Hotspur, and if that Hotspur starts throwing the incredibly powerful cannons, the carronade type cannons, into that 17 gun, it can do some serious damage very, very quickly. So I think this is going to be a Marines victory because they've managed to hold on to the Salmon for so long. What an incredible play. I'm shocked by it, by the ability for that ship to just hang on and not die.
So to give you guys a quick update on the HP values on these Marines yellow ships here. So critically, most of the 8-guns were right up at full health, and their Corvette started to take more damage just now, but it was almost full health as well. Whereas the Marines probably collectively have the HP of like maybe 2.5 ships total. I'm not sure. Atticus could tell us. I was kind of disappointed just now. The Chambray and the its 8-gun in front of it just were able to come through that canal untested. Basically, they were getting shot at by the Marines. They had multiple ships on both sides blocking them, but the Marines did not actually block them. They just kind of went around them, and they were not focusing the Chambray. They could have killed it by now. The I was hoping that the I was hoping that the Corvette, the Hotspur, as you were talking at the time, was going to put some fire on it, but it did not. It was focusing on the other targets, and
Yeah.
that's why we still see this happening here.
Yeah.
But at the moment, I think, yeah, the two fleets have basically just realigned each other. And,
Yeah, they've reformed here, and we're seeing that 4th ship from the Sea Otters has returned.
Guys, sorry to interrupt. The Chambur has gone.
It's gone. Yeah.
It
yeah,
has
there
gone
goes.
under
Yeah.
withering 8-gun fire of all things.
Okay, we're looking at
Yeah.
an even trade here.
So
Almost.
Yeah. Well, the thing here is while it does seem really hopeless to lose both of your 17 guns, the Marine Salmon does not seem to be in any rush to get back into this battle. It is hunting gunboats, as a matter of fact, to scrape supplies from these smaller ships so that it can come back in with some modicum of health. Now the question is, what are the Sea Otters going to do? They still do have, well, I mean, they're losing by 3 or 4 ships at this point. The corvettes do not count for victory or defeat. So if this is your first time watching, it is the 17-gun brigs. Those are the biggest ships. It is the 8 guns. That is the triplicate of ships that you see. Those 3 of the slimmer vessels, of which you can see right now. The Marines are charging in with their 8 guns, and with those are the ones that count, right? So if you lose all those, you lose the game. The game ends no matter what else you have going on there. So we're gonna see now, what the Sea Otters can do to preserve those ships and start whittling down the advantage that the Marines have. The Marines, if they stay together and stay organized, this is their match to win. Will they? Or will they fight 1v3 in a bunch of small battles and get trounced by the incredible firepower of the caster, which is that corvette?
Well, just to give you some updates, the caster's on about a third health, the Icon Fix is on a quarter health, and the Courage Grenades is he's about two thirds. So he's definitely their healthiest. They all seem to be focusing fire currently on the Siren.
Yeah, and the Siren, by the way, and I'm sure Amma can tell us more, but it is at full health right now.
It's pretty much at full health. But here's the thing: you see what I'm talking about? You see the Sea Otters concentrating fire on single ships. They just kind of get foiled sometimes by other factors that are going on, whereas the Marines are kind of just skirting around it. They're not being as aggressive as I think they should be. They have the definite advantage if they wanted to just go start boarding those ships, and then keep a couple off to the side. Especially, you can see the Salmon is actually back in at almost full health now. That is bad news bears for the Sea Otters right now. They're about to get cut off.
Yeah, that is the imminent threat right now. Is the Marines, the Salmon, again, that 17-gun brig, that big flagship style ship, is coming in to cut off the front. So they've got enemies to the rear, they've got enemies to the side, and they've got enemies to the front. This is looking very much like they're about to get boxed in towards the west here, and that could be the end of the Sea Otters' pretensions to their first victory here. We will see.
They're listening to you, Merc, because they've just about turned away from that 17.
Yeah. I don't think they need to hear it from me to know they don't want to be anywhere near that ship right now. Meanwhile, they do have, again, the numbers advantage, right? So if they take the Icon Fixer and the Caster and the Grognard and they just fight the ships on their port side, they have overwhelming firepower to defeat those ships. These 8 guns do not do a tremendous amount of damage. They soak it up, but they don't always give it out. Whereas, again, the Caster, that corvette in the middle of the Otters formation there, is capable of dishing out a tremendous amount of damage. The question is, can they get those hits?
Look, I still think the Sea Otters have a chance here. If you see the Sultan, it's taken some fire. It's a trio of good ships there to have at that specific range for the Sea Otters. They've got a corvette and 2 8-gun schooners. If they focus down one of those ships, I would hope that they would turn a little bit so they can get closer. They do have a chance to take out more corvettes on the Marine side. Like it's not a foregone conclusion that that they can destroy more ships. About a victory, though, I don't know about that. But Atticus, like, what do you think they should be focusing on right now? Taking more ships or just getting straight up points to lessen that gap once it...
Oh, definitely go for ships. They've got two 8 guns isolated from the rest of their fleet.
It's doable.
It's not over. It's not over. It's not like last season when the brigs counted for more than the 8 guns. They're all equal now. So all they've got to do is take out, what is it, 2 more? 1 more for a draw?
If they take out these 2 8 guns that they're engaging right now, they are currently at a draw.
Yeah.
Right? And with 8 minutes left, it's certainly possible to do that.
It's very doable. One thing I will put that I have noticed watching this, just a big change from last season, how quickly these ships can disengage.
Yeah.
We saw it with the Sea Otters when they saw the Salmon coming earlier. They turned around and turned tail, and the Salmon hasn't really got a sniff of them until now as it comes into view.
It's a good sniff, I think.
And on the other side, the Marines, these two that were the focus of what's left of the Sea Otters fleet, the Sultan and the Razorfish, they were able to see the danger and just mosey on out very, very quickly and make it very difficult.
The
So,
Spectre,
yeah,
or sorry, Hotspur,
the
committed by
Hotspurs
Spectre,
coming in.
is going on a little bit of a suicide charge here as his friendlies left. So they might actually sink that Corvette, but obviously that doesn't matter for the score. So maybe it's a bit of a strategy to confuse them and distract them from the larger threat, which
It,
is the
it It
salmon.
absolutely is, Amit, and it is a masterstroke from the Marines here. They've put a ship that doesn't matter to the scoring as the closest to the enemy fleet, drawing the enemy's fire. It's also one hell of a damage dealer, so you want to take it out. That was one of the moves of the match for me.
And it's still got a sliver of health there. Maybe one more shot. There it goes.
And the salmon is well within range right now, and it's getting towards the front of the enemy fleet. Now, the salmon needs to watch out because just as dangerous is the caster, and the caster is really close to being in range right now. Canny use of captain's commands to increase the damage of this broadside coming from the caster hitting the salmon, that could take the salmon out with lightning speed. We've got to keep our eye on that engagement. It's really great that the Sea Otters are putting that first, because, again, just like the Marines just did, throwing that Corvette in front is going to be a big, shocking distraction that might save these 8 guns. Let's see how it plays out.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised at the insistence of this the captain of the so Jenkins of the Salmon to just drive straight headfirst into that Corvette, because those explosive rounds really do disrupt your ability to continue repairing and or firing. They could have just chose to sit off, at a distance and destroy them while the 8 guns went in instead. So I'm
He's
not really
figured
sure.
it out now, but the reason is that the Grognard, the rearmost 8 gun of the Sea Otters, was looking pretty injured, and he wanted
This
to
is
keep those cannons rotated on that and hit it as hard as they can.
this is really bad. We've got over 5 minutes. The Salmon is going to go down. I have to believe that's going to happen if because they're way below half now. They're 2 more salvos and they'll be
But
done.
the caster is down.
call-
The caster is down.
Caster did go down. Okay, so maybe the Salmon might hang on for it's
This
it's a
thing.
cat. It's used 2 lives so far.
Right. It's got a lot more, it seems.
Yeah.
And even if it goes down,
Correct,
it's still
yeah,
a 3-2 battle, and the Marines ships are relatively healthy. What is the ship HP looking like on the other side, Atticus? And what are you seeing over here?
So the Icon Fixer, which is the closest one to the enemy fleet and about to take the full ire of it as the Salmon decides to turn tail and run away, he's at about a quarter health. Meanwhile, the Gronards at the back is gone.
Yeah.
We are down to 1 ship for the Sea Otters left.
Doesn't change the outcome, but I just wanted to point out that the Sea Otters just had one of their rocket boats taken over by the Marines, which is pretty funny because the captain of that ship is still trying to get on it and attack them. So, fun little offshoot or side combat.
There are so many little dramas happening in this battle that we can barely keep track of because there is just so much. The gunboats have their own drama that happens throughout all this. And so, I'm sure some of you guys have seen some images of it, but of course we're focusing on the fleet battle here, and the fleet battle is basically over. Now, the Troan, Atticus, probably picked up some supplies and has repaired itself. Do you see an HP increase over time?
It is slowly going up. I'd like to point out the captain
It's
is
the
the
I Can
Troan.
Fix Her. I Can Fix Her is the name of the ship. Thank you.
Captain Troan is he's captaining the Icon Fixer, and the belief seems to be that they can fix her. They are hammering away with what little supplies they have left to try and maybe shore her up a little bit, but
Where's her HP at right now? Because this is about to be the moment of contact.
about a third. She said about a third.
That ain't
She's-
going to be enough.
Come on,
It's
give
not
us a
gonna be
boarding
enough.
action.
They
I don't
have
know
a
if the
great
wind is-
position here.
Oh, no,
But-
Marines playing it safe.
Yep, Marines are saying, I'll crash my ship into the wall because it gives me rotation to hit this ship.
The problem is they're not going to be able to destroy this thing fast enough, I don't think.
It could escape. It could definitely escape. But that is now. Funny enough, the salmon is just gone. The salmon's gone. And so I think at this point, with 2 minutes and 48 seconds left, maybe the Icon Fixer is going to try and charge after the salmon and get a sink on a flagship just for the morale purposes. They're not going to win this battle, but they might lose it in style. There she goes, the Icon Fixer, pushing forward. Hasn't sunk. and it's going to have 2 ships that have beached themselves just to get a rotation on her. And they are going to try and dislodge themselves. And nope, no, the Icon Fixer is stopping. Atticus, what do you think?
Whew.
It's
I think
deposited some bodies in the water.
Oh yes. There are 4 guys going overland now. They're heading for the battlements. They're gonna be late, but it was a nice idea. With
Yeah,
those ships, with one of those ships up against the island, I think they were gonna attempt a boarding action from above.
that would have
I'm
been cool. Yeah.
I'm actually devastated they didn't manage to pull that off. But
You can see them over there. They looked over that cliff, realized they were never going to make it over to the Siren, and then they just turned around and looked for some other prey. Maybe
Look, I
they
don't
were
think
hoping some cannons were up there.
I don't think the timing takes away from the genius of the plan. It's one of those things that you just come up in the midst of battle. And one of the cool things I like about the league is like it forces people to think in a different manner as
Yeah.
opposed to like a regular event.
they may have a quarry. They may have a quarry.
I mean, if they go to the other side of the island, the Razorfish is still on the beach.
There is
Unfortunately,
one lone sailor who, and he just shot. He just shot someone. The lone sailor just shot someone from the top of the cliffs on the
that would be Flash from the X.
flash shot Baboof. Yes.
Oh my goodness. X on X violence. And that is it. That is it. The last 8 gun for the Sea Otters is down, and we have a strong finish from the Marines. The yellow ships, the British team, the Marines have won. I hate
That might catapult them right to the top of the leaderboard right now.
that is a very big score difference. I don't mean to disparage the Marines. Is this their first NSL victory?
No.
This
they
is their
have
second
won
NSL
before.
victory, right?
As the Marines, yes.
As the Marines. Okay. Well, that was incredible. Let's start talking about takeaways here. We've seen 3 battles now. One of which, the first of which, was an old school artillery battle. Both of the second and third battles have been messy. Boarding actions, fleets splitting into a million pieces, reforming back together, pulling ships out for repairs, hunting the battlefield. Oh, I think I just cut out here. All sorts of. So what I was saying is they've split up, they've come back, they've reformed, they've hunted for supplies, right? All sorts of different strategies that bring chaos. I want to pass it to Atticus first. Atticus, from what you watched, what does this tell you about the meta for season 2?
It doesn't tell me a whole lot, to be honest. 3 games in, we don't have a meta at the minute. While there was a lot of close quarters and a lot of chaos, there was boarding didn't seem that prevalent. You know, I think one thing that is coming to the fore is the captain's orders.
Yeah.
I think the captain's orders are the game changer for most of these battles. If you can get a rhythm down to maximize your damage output at whatever range, you're gonna do well. You're gonna do well. I think the power still lies with the Brigs. The Brigs have the power. I think that was the big problem the Sea Otters faced today. Once they lost their Brigs, they were in trouble. Once they even lost the first one, they were in trouble. The second one had to pull out, effect some repairs, didn't have the resources required in order to get her back up to full health, and eventually was picked off just by withering 8 gunfire.
Yeah. Same question to you, Amit. Do you see any signals for what the meta may be like based on what you observed today?
I'm gonna have to agree with Atticus. And we had this kind of conversation at the early parts of season 1 as well. We waited probably be 2-3 months in to make any real determinations. The reason I say that is because if you look at this match compared to the previous one, it did play out quite differently in terms of the activities and the motivations of the teams. I think in the previous match, you saw the Hydras go really aggressive in probably just after the beginning of the match. After it was a bit touch and go. This one, almost the entire thing, I felt like I was watching three matches in one because you had a bit of a touch and go. Then they got really close, and then they disengaged. And I'm not going to recount everything Atticus just said, but those are the same reasons why I think it's still too early to say. And in the first match of the league, I think you saw two brand new teams who had never been in the NSL before kind of do. Sorry, no, it was the Krakens
It was
versus
the
the
Krakens.
Rum
The
Rats. My
Krakens.
bad. So the Krakens did, what the Krakens do best. They do a bit of a balanced approach there. Yeah, that's my opinion. It's a little too soon. With the Marines, I felt that they should have been more aggressive. They had the subtle advantages at every turn and kind of just didn't capitalize on it fully. But that's not to take away from their measured approach. They definitely have the captain orders and that cohesion. And if you held tap at any point during the battle, I did several times. You see the average score for their players quite a bit higher than what's on the Marines, or sorry, the
Otters.
Sea Otters side. And I can only imagine the Sea Otters are going to be looking at improving things. That's just kind of the way this goes. Like they live,
Yeah.
they learn.
Before we get to talking to our admirals, I want to respectfully disagree with the two of you, and I do think that I do see at least a strain. There could be multiple meta game threads defining any meta game, but I am seeing here that in this era there are two real strategies that seem to be showing results. The first one is just nuking the fleet cohesion of the enemy, whether that's by ramming, boarding, but whatever you do, you stop that line from being a line and you turn it into a mess. And then what we're noticing as well is something Atticus mentioned, I think, early on. I hope it was Atticus, and I don't mean it if it wasn't. I'm sorry, but about how fast ships can withdraw from a battle. And putting those two things together, the team that learns how to kind of blow up an enemy formation and then zip away to reform their formation can, I think, get some serious advantage in this new playstyle. That's the sort of the current of thinking that I'm on right now when I think of what might be the metagame. Because I have to agree with you in the fact that, yeah, there is no defined metagame yet, but I think that those may be components of what we might in the future call a meta, especially for these teams that love the aggression. All right, so we have our admirals here. We are going to speak to the victorious admiral first, and each of us hosts are going to ask them a question. I'll ask them one in the beginning, and then I'll ask my regular question at the end, which is what did they learn from all this and what are they taking away. We are going to start. I see that we have Kieran's here, and we have Lord Jenkins, our representatives from the Marines. Congratulations, guys! What a win! How are you feeling right now? Are you feeling good?
I'm feeling fantastic.
Uh,
The Yeah, go ahead. I'm
I was
sorry if
just gonna say, I mean, what a win! We didn't win a single game last season. This season, we've come back. We're here to play this time. I'm telling you.
so happy to see it. We are very happy to see you guys coming in so strong. We each have a question for you. So my question to start off with is, um, do you feel that the Age of Sail has given you many gifts in regards to your playstyle? Your playstyle is aggressive. It's take this, that ram the enemy, hit the enemy, disrupt the enemy, right? Do you feel now that like it's almost like the game is caught up to you, Kieran's?
I think so, yeah, especially with the Corvette gameplay. It's just offered a new level of energy, which I think Naval needed.
No. Very good. Well, and Jenkins, I'll pass the same question over to you. What did anything that you have seen, like the ship commands and the ways that boarding and ramming works, did that change or validate your guys' play style?
I think we would have been very dead without the repairs. Let me just say, and
Yeah.
also, yeah, the Corvette, as Kieran was saying, it's very much a queen on a chessboard, I believe, and to
Yeah.
utilize that the way a queen would on a chessboard is very much the way it's going to be meta played. I mean, it does so much damage. We got
It
caught in the
does.
broadside of it twice in that game, and yeah, I think Brown Trousers describes that very well.
I agree. I think that's a great metaphor for it. Just like the queen in chess, I'm going to run with that. I like that a lot. I'm going to pass it over to Atticus. Atticus, what is your question for our victorious admirals?
Well, my question was going to be for Jenkins, but I think he's just answered it. In towards the end of the battle, we mentioned it in commentary that he was going hard in on the corvette and the remaining Sea Otter's fleet. However, towards the very end of the battle, he was sailing for the horizon. Was that because of the pure damage output and the damage you took from the corvette that was guarding that final 8 gun?
I think the Corvette was the one ship on the enemy team that almost got us down to the Davy Jones locker twice. Of course, I summoned my inner Captain Jack Aubrey and was like, go to a port to refit simply won't do. We'll have to scavenge the rainforest for a new mast, as we did. Very well. Shout out to the crew. Everybody on my crew was absolutely fantastic dealing with all the threats. I don't know if you saw as well, but our 8 guns sort of provided a shield whilst we collected
Yes.
resources. Again, Warcraft 3, more lumber is required. That might not hit everybody, but no, definitely. We're really liking the new update of Age of Sail, and we're excited to see what comes next, to be honest.
Excellent, excellent.
All right. Amit, what's your question for our admirals?
For these guys, obviously, first of all, congrats. Very good win. Glad to see it. I just want to check the statement. You did win a match in the season 1, so don't take that away from yourselves.
That's right.
My question is, so did things play out kind of to your desired doctrine today? I know that things got a little bit messy, a little bit faster, but you're no stranger to how these things go in NSL. So combined with this Age of Sail update, is this the kind of thing we should expect to see from you, or are you going to be taking what you learned today and changing the formula for yourselves?
I think even though we won, there's still a lot of things that I would do differently. It did get messy very quickly, and we did a lot of planning. And it seems none of the plans we had designed didn't actually play through. It sort of just became a free for all. But we knew our gunners were strong, and we knew that our captains were strong. So I think in the eventuality things go the same way in the future, we'll be able to handle ourselves much better. But as I said, I think going for a more organised strategy next game will help us continue our win streak.
Awesome.
Very good. Very good. Well, yeah. So usually I ask at this point, I do feel like you kind of answered it, but I always like to end on the question of, what did you take away from this battle? What are you going to incorporate into your training? Do you have anything in specific that you're thinking of right now? And I know you'll probably have meetings about this and think about this even further, but like from the gut, from the hip, is there anything that you want to do better next time?
I think I was the flagship captain, and
Mhm.
I think that I've outgrown that role a little bit, and I might go back to being the free roam admiral and letting
Yeah.
some of my seasoned captains do the job of the 17 guns. But in general, we've been training so much for the NSL, and I've been stressing the importance to everyone about the NSL, and I think that's what's helped us be sort of be in tune with the way the new cannons work on each ship. We
Yeah.
don't just train on one ship. We have everyone be sort of acquainted with every type of gun, whether it be the carronade or the long guns. So yeah, I think we will obviously continue our training. We always train on the maps that we have ahead of ourselves in the
Yeah.
NSL. But yeah.
Well, we look forward to seeing how you guys continue to improve. I mean, you said you were going to come back strong, and obviously you were right. So, congrats on a great victory today, and we look forward to seeing more from you in the future. We're going to move over now. I have Random Billy here. Mr. Billy, I think it's just you from your team here.
Yeah.
So sorry for your loss today, but you certainly were baptized in fire here. You gave as good as you got throughout most of this battle. These were back and forth motions. The simultaneous sinking of the 17 gun brigs at the beginning really led to just a messy, chaotic battle for most for most of the middle, and then things sort of reformed towards the end. My question for you is this. This is your first NSL battle. How was it different from what your expectations for an NSL battle would be?
I mean, I'm not going to say it was very different because I kind of expected it after the first two matches, but
Mhm.
it was really hectic, and I mean, it was absolute hell to try to coordinate with the others. I mean, at the end, it was much easier because we had a lot less sheep and they were well grouped up. But yeah, we
Yeah.
really needed to work more on the coordination between us, and it's not really easy because we have a bilingual team. So I mean, bilingual. We have English
Yeah,
speaker and some French speaker who don't speak English that well. So we really need to rework on the coordination. Skelly is here, just in case.
Yes.
He's Vice Admiral and Captain of the Corvette who did very good today.
Yes, very good
Did
today.
do very good today.
Very good. All right, yeah. Amit, what is your question for the Sea Otters?
So obviously, this is a new type of competition you're coming into, and definitely, if it was me, I'd have a little bit of nerves coming into it. So, great job. I thought you guys did a phenomenal job trying to focus down certain ships today, especially early on and towards the end. You really almost got that salmon 17 gun before Jenkins managed to get shielded by his 8 guns. So I'll ask a similar question that I asked to the Marines. Coming into this, uh, did you do much of planning in terms of, or rather, I guess, the cliche is that no plan survives first contact. So I'd like to know from you your idea of what a match was going to be like. I'm sure you've looked at the other videos before, and to a certain extent, maybe some of the stuff from the previous season. Was there any singular goal you wanted to take away from this? Did you think you did what you set out to do today?
I mean, I don't think we really had a general plan on how to play, but we had like good ideas of what role which ship should have. So, for example, the Aegon should try to torpedo the 17s, and the 17 should try to stay at range. Obviously, didn't survive first contact, and to be honest, I did spend a lot more time trying to organize the team, the Discord, rather than working on battle plan for today.
Yeah.
It was a bit, I mean, getting 45 people to participate in the NSL was more of a challenge, I think. I mean, more important for our first match than maybe over preparing for our first battle.
Certainly, I think a lot of people don't realize there's an administrative, emotional tax to trying to wrangle multiple groups together to do it. Speaking as myself and Dan doing it for quite some time now, so very well done to you on that. And I cut the second half of my question because I know Lumerk is about to ask it right now.
Well, first I want to pass it over to Atticus.
Okay, that's right.
Atticus, what's your question for Billy and Skelly?
The only question I have, and it was just given the trouble that the salmon, the second brig from the Marines, gave you towards the end of that battle, you had that thing down to nearly zero health. What stopped you from sinking it? Why? I mean, at that point, the Corvette should have been able to go in and just absolutely rip it apart, and it was in the vicinity.
I mean, on my side, I mean, I was on the 17, so I didn't really see, but I know I know there was some kind of miscommunication. One of the 8 gun, for example, was covering for me, and I think in hindsight it would have been better if he also went for the enemy 17, but I'm not sure, maybe Skelly was closer.
Yes, I was. What ended up happening was, well, that massive 17 gun was rocking around, and yeah, that kind of scared us off from it because we were seeing they were coming round the Highland, and we were kind of right to do so because, by God, I don't know who was on that front gun, but Jesus wept. That's all I can say.
Yeah,
Fair
I
enough,
think he
fair
had
enough.
nearly 7,000 points by the end.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh Lord.
That's incredible.
So
We'll
the
have to look back.
carronade hasn't quite been as nerfed as we thought it had.
Yeah, I mean,
No.
the two best scorer were Carronade player. We had Latas on our own, which is an excellent shot, and who did 2,500, and I mean, he barely shot at. And I think there's only a single ship we fought that sunk. So most of his points are in ships that didn't even sink, which means it's half.
Well, commiserations, gentlemen. You did put up one hell of a fight, though, and it was great to watch.
Absolutely agreed. And so my last question, what I think Amit was talking about a little earlier, what is the number one takeaway for you guys? What's the thing that you want to improve most between this battle and your next battle in the NSL?
I think it will be coordination between the ships. Like we really need to train more together. I mean, we've already trained, but I think the next match will be easier because of the fact we know how hard it is to actually coordinate in a battle.
Yeah.
Trainings is, I mean, it's easy to coordinate in a training when you have only a few ships and all, but in a real battle, yeah.
I know I'm not the only person who thinks that you guys are the team to watch this season. We're going to keep our eyes on you because I think once you get those growing pains out of the way, I think you guys are going to be a very fearsome team, and I'm really looking forward to seeing that growth arc that you have through the rest of the season. So thank you so much for joining the NSL. Billy, my respect for you is boundless, and I've been hoping that you would join the NSL for some time, and so we're very, very excited to have you here. And NJ, of course, as well, a great regiment to join what we hope will be a great season too. So thank you, gentlemen, and of course, thank you, Kieran's, thank you, Jenkins, thank you, all the admirals who fought today for an incredible good show of great daring and bravery out there on the high seas. I also want to thank my co-hosts, Atticus and Amit. Gentlemen, thank you for being, just the greatest co-hosts a person can ask for. We are blessed with so many talented and insightful individuals, of which the two of you are some of the best. So thank you for your analysis today, and also for the many people behind the scenes who you will see in the credits, people who are organizing the very many mercenaries that we have, making sure this all operates. We have graphics, that we have everything ready on time, that we have a director, our great director, Mr. Dr. Professor, who was here today helping us all out and giving you guys the show that you saw. There are so many people who help out behind the scenes, and it is so important to me to recognize them as much as I can because we couldn't do it without it. This is not a one-man show. This is not a 3-man show. This is not a 5-man show. This is like a 20-man show, and they all do it just for the love of the game, and we are so grateful to them for doing so, and grateful to you for joining us this weekend. It's Season 2, Game 3 of the NSL. Next week, I will not be here in the announcer's booth, nor will Atticus. We will be out on the field fighting for our lives against the Beavers. I hope that you will join us for that next week, same place, same time, here at the Naval Sports League. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in.